The University of the West Indies, activist at 75, driver of 7.5 decades of Caribbean development, host to multi-generational intellectual service to its people, designed and dedicated to detaching them from the colonial scaffold, patron to regional integration, partner in the political democracy and sovereignty agendas, promoter of cultural identity and social multiracialism, gender equality and women's liberation, and advocate of indigenous economic development and broad-based sustainable post-colonial transformation. 7.5 decades of effective teaching and research in support of nation building. Creator of conscious citizens, architects of their existential arrangements, the University of the West Indies, deeply rooted in Caribbean civilization, prepared for 21st century service and rapidly rising as a first-class global institution. At 75, its reputation has never been higher, its global visibility has never been greater. Ranked in the top 1.5% of the world's finest 30,000 universities, it is on top of its game, number one in the region, and holding its head high with success. Dignified in its decades of struggle, these outstanding achievements are the results of an unwavering activist commitment to finding solutions to the region's challenges: social equality, economic development, democratic political reform, climate change, public health, sustainable energy, reparatory justice, and many other needs. It is an academy that has been persistent in its search of social upliftment, partnering with indigenous institutions, CARICOM, Caribbean Development Bank, Caribbean Examinations Council, and many others. It has produced and honed the region's finest leaders, from the longest-serving senior statesman, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, to the youngest and most recently elected, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell. It has benefited from the wisdom and vision of non-alumni leaders such as the Honorable Mia Motley, whose call for a new global economic order resonates in the corridors of its classrooms. As an activist university, it was selected in 2019 by the International Association of Universities to lead the Global University Consortium on Sustainable Development Goal 13, Climate Action, in recognition of its decade of distinguished research on climate change. In this role, it received commendation from the Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change in the 6th Assessment Report. It is now recognized as the lead producer of research on small island developing states. Also, as an activist university, it has produced the leadership to build out an association of Caribbean universities, an organization of over 50 universities across the language terrain, unifying the higher education landscape of the Caribbean and driving the regional integration process. Rising to the challenge of COVID-19 management, the UWI mobilized its community of virologists, microbiologists, and epidemiologists to work with the health sector and governments to save lives. With sleeves rolled up, UWI scientists made their societies proud in their effective service. The leading research academy in the region, globally competitive, and ranked as excellent in the generation of new and relevant knowledge, center of gravity of the region's research culture, and host to its finest community of creative writers and artists. The soul and spiritual beat of the civilization. Today, the university sits at the pinnacle of the global reparations movement, seeking justice and a new development paradigm for the region. The world is on the cusp of a major structural transition driven by reparatory justice, an inspired development by CARICOM that calls upon the university to play its part. The university has proclaimed its intention to position itself as the epicenter of digital transformation for the region, building out the capacity for a knowledge economy that is rooted in digital science and propelled by corresponding technologies. The UWI at 75, energized for the future and focused on the region's needs at 2050. A public university sustained by the financial and policy support of regional governments, always seeking to assure them of the positive outcomes of their investments. The UWI, 5 campuses hosting 50,000 students, erupting over 75 years. The region's greatest gift to itself, an excellent ethical university steeped in the struggles of its people and driven by their finest imaginings. Consolidating the past, the UWI now looks deeply into the future, focusing on claiming and owning that dignified place called the Caribbean world, sophisticated, sovereign, and sustainable.